What's up guys, this video is brought to you by VideoBlocks. VideoBlocks has one of the fastest growing, largest stock video libraries with over 3 million videos, After Effects, and motion backgrounds. This includes the only contributor marketplace that gives 100% of the commission back to the artists, and all of these clips come with a royalty-free agreement so you don't get hit with copyright claims, which is something I'm all too familiar with.
You should have used VideoBlocks, Kyle.
No one asked for your opinion, Chris! This month, VideoBlocks is launching a new collection featuring hundreds of Unreal clips including space, VR, deep water, fantasy, and sci-fi footage. All of these now come included with your subscription, and for a limited time, you also get free 4K clips from the membership library at no additional cost. Go to videoblocks.com/YouTube using the description link below to start downloading and get 7 days of VideoBlocks for free. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. Today I am super excited because I'm actually assembling my own professional workstation system for 4K video editing. That's going to be used here at the studio. As of now, I'm actually using our HTPC, granted it's a very high-end HTPC, to do all of our editing, but it's just not the most ideal solution. We've been using Google Chromecast at home and it kind of sucks. So finally I'll have a dedicated editing system, so I'm really excited about that. Let's just dive into the hardware. We've got a 16-core, 32-thread, guys, Intel Core i9-7960X CPU that we're going to be using for today, part of the Skylake X platform, of course. This thing is an absolute beast, 44 PCIe lanes. Of course, Threadripper has more. I know all the comments are going to be filled with that, but this is going to be absolutely crazy. I'm very excited to be building with this. We use the 7820X, the Core i7 part for Chris the Intern's build a couple weeks back, and that thing has been kicking ass. This is literally doubling the number of cores and threads, so super stoked to be using it today. We've also got the X299 Aorus Gaming 9 motherboard from Gigabyte, also a beast of a product. Tons of RGB LED elements that can be disabled, very important. And there's also just a ton of connectivity, most importantly, 3 M.2 slots that are supporting NVMe drives, which we're going to be filling up 2 of those today. So super stoked to be using that. Additionally, we have memory, 32 gig of Trident Z RGB DDR4 at 3200 speed. This kit is absolutely fantastic. It's just as fast as it is colorful. Yeah, the box is empty. Where the hell did DIMMs go? Well, whatever. They're floating around somewhere in the office. We'll have to track them down before we start building. But we've also got a Radeon RX Vega 64. This is the ROG Strix variant from good old Asus. This thing is an absolute monster. The overclocking is a bit weird right now because they're having AMD is having some issues with the VBIOS. It's not Asus's fault, but within a week or so they should have it up and running just fine, and we're going to be able to get some really nice overclocks with this guy, and hopefully better thermals than we do with the reference model, that's for sure. For storage, we've got 2 NVMe drives that we're using today, only one of which is in a box. The 960 Evo from Samsung. This is super fast. We're going to be using it as our boot drive. It's a 250 gig capacity. And then we've also got a 1 terabyte RD400 from Toshiba OCZ. This thing is super fast. We've been using it a lot in just various builds in the past. I think it's finally landing a permanent home in today's system, so that's also cool. And then AeroCool stuff. Actually, AeroCool is the primary sponsor for today's build, so thank you, AeroCool, for making this possible. They hooked it up with some of their P7 or Project 7 series parts. They all look extremely nice and seem very high quality. Starting with the P7 L240, this is a liquid AIO, 240mm radiator, of course. The water block is super cool. I mean, obviously it's full copper design. It's got a micro channel design as well to help with heat dissipation. The water block itself is actually, it's got a built-in reservoir that can hold up to 250 milliliters of liquid, so you can actually refill it, drain it, put in your own liquid if you want, things like that. So really cool. It's also supposed to have a dual chamber design, or a dual wall for the chamber, so it actually isolates the pump noise and reduces the noise output significantly, which should be interesting to test out. And we also have 2 included 120mm RGB fans, which are pretty cool looking. They do hook up to either a 50/50 header on your motherboard, or I think AeroCool also makes their P7 hub, which we're going to be using today, which can connect up to 5 PWM fans or 2 RGB devices, including RGB fans. So very excited to be using that as well. We also have a P7 650 watt platinum power supply, 80 plus platinum rated. Very high efficiency rating, guys. Fully modular design, has a lot of mesh open ventilation for that 140mm RGB fan, which is super cool. And all the cables are black, so no ketchup and mustard business that you have to deal with. And finally, we have our case of the hour, the P7C0 Pro, which is, again, from AeroCool. It is an ATX mid-tower with dual tempered glass side panels on either side. It looks fantastic. It's a real looker. It's got plenty of RGB at the front with 3 120mm RGB PWM fans. You can also put a 360mm radiator at the front if you so choose. There's dual mounts for 120s or 140mm fans at the top, power supply basement, plenty of cable management at the back, steel construction, and all that jazz for about $100 MSRP, so quite a steal for this case overall. But those are pretty much all the parts that we're dealing with today. Sorry I had to rattle those off quickly because we got a lot to do still. But I actually have other things to take care of, so maybe I'll have Wifey Sauce build the system today. Does that sound cool to you guys? I'm gonna get her over here. Summoning Wifey Sauce. Summoning the powers of Wifey Sauce. There she is. Hey, you ready to build?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, cool.
When do we get that elevator installed? All right, build complete. Wifey Sauce has done it yet again. Looks fantastic. It
Thank
boots
you.
just fine. It is ready for Windows installation. You did a pretty nice job here. Cable management looks fantastic as well. This was your first time installing liquid-cooled AIO, correct?
Correct.
Liquid cooler?
Yep.
How did that go with the P7 L240 here?
It was good, but I did have trouble finding out where to mount the radiator. I first tried to mount it on the top, but was having some trouble fitting it properly, and realized that the motherboard was actually interfering with where the radiator needed to
like
sit.
The top of the motherboard,
Yeah.
like the VRM heat sinks and stuff like that, wasn't giving you enough clearance, right?
Yeah, so basically I had to mount it on the front of the case instead, which for a while...
That's better anyway.
Yeah.
And actually the water block, when I first came in to check on you, it was actually mounted 90 degrees counterclockwise to what it is now, so the tubes are actually on the right side, and that was actually not giving you enough slack, and it was looking, the tubing was kind of cramped in that orientation, so you
And
actually had to...
aesthetically, it looks a lot better.
And aesthetically, it looks better now that you rotated it 90
Right.
degrees. The graphics card is looking pretty good here. We definitely get full-length GPU support in this case. How is the cable management as far as the backside goes? I mean, there's a lot of cables and a lot of wires here that we're dealing with.
That made it a little bit difficult, but fortunately, there's a lot of space over down here by the power supply, and also like a lot of tie downs. The basement.
Yeah.
And also a lot of tie downs for all the cabling. So that made it a little bit better, but yeah, so it turned out good.
It also kind of helped that we had their the PC hub, or the P7 hub, the AeroCool hub, to kind of like just direct all of the cables for the fans and the LEDs for those fans just to one spot. We actually mounted that hub at the front of the case, just towards the bottom there. It's not really connected to anything. There's no, it did include Velcro if we wanted to Velcro it down, but it's already pretty cramped back there, so it kind of just stays in place on its own. But yeah, you know what? I put my faith in you for this, because this is my own personal editing workstation system now, and I think you did a fantastic job. So
thank you.
Well played. Well played. We're gonna shake hands.
Like the lovely married couple we are.
Yes, of course. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, AeroCool, for sponsoring this system. And be sure to subscribe for more tech stuff coming at you really soon. Also, toss a like on the video. Give it up for Wifey Sauce. Congratulate her once again for a successful build in the comments. As always, have a good one, guys, and we'll see you all in the next video. That's my line.